last blog I put up, or vlog, pardon me. But I thought today I would show you guys kind of what I have in my travel sewing kit, and maybe my historical sewing kit, and maybe even my regular sewing box, which is actually a converted toolbox. So, yeah. I'm also trying out a new tripod, so if all of a sudden in the middle of something it just kind of goes, that's why. But yeah, let's have a look and see what I do in order to manage the madness. So here I'm going to show you guys the little sewing kit that I carry in my backpack. It is from a tin that I ordered on Amazon, but you could always just use an Altoid tin or something like that. But yeah, I'll show you what I have in here. So let's open her up. So, this way. So the first thing is I have 3 magnets glued at the top, and that holds these scissors that I believe were originally for eyelashes or something, but they're nice and sharp and they work perfect for clipping threads. And then of course we have 2 needles. One slightly smaller, one slightly longer. This is more of an emergency kit as opposed to like a hobby kit. So it's just there to keep track of things when if I need to repair something quickly or something like that. So of course we have black thread. We have brown thread. And we have white. Now the spool that I had the white on, I think it broke, so I just took a bobbin from my embroidery stuff and I put it on there. We have a seam ripper, which always handy. I try to never leave home without one. We have a chunk of beeswax to help with the threads. We have some chalk for marking out things. There we go, much better. We have a little thing of safety pins. Punk rock sewing kit. You never go anywhere without safety pins either. And then we have some buttons. Right now these are just white and blue, but you know, if you're repairing a button quickly, sometimes it doesn't really matter what color your buttons are. And then of course we have, oh, see, there's another button. We have a roll of ball pins, which if I really wanted to, I could probably fold it over, but I don't bother. And then a roll of straight pins with the teeny head. Now I don't like using these all the time, but sometimes when you're in a pinch, that's what you got. So that's everything that I have in my everyday sewing kit. This goes with me pretty much anywhere I have my backpack, but it is small enough that it could fit in a pocket if you wanted it to. Yeah, so now I'll show you how everything goes back in there. Close it, keep it, make sure it stays closed. I'll just wrap a hairband around it or use a piece of tape or something. But yeah, so this is what I call my field sewing kit, and this is more for modern and mundane stuff. But I imagine that if I happen to be at an event and I could not get to my normal sewing setup that I have for events, that this could also be incredibly useful. Alright, so then this is my kit that goes with me to SCA events. It hangs out in my game box, and yes, I know it's not a period cover, but I couldn't resist that it was the butter cookies. There were actual cookies in here. I did eat them. So let's see what we've got. Alright, so first of all we have a needle book, which has various needles of, oh, here we go. It has various needles of different sizes. And space, I guess, for more if I need to. And then because I lost the clasp long ago, I just keep it closed with a hair tie. And of course we have a small pair of scissors for thread snips Again, I wouldn't cut fabric with these, but it's useful to have them. Good old chunk of beeswax to help with threads. Now, notice I don't have any threads in here. I need to fix that. But for now, this is what I got. We've got a little thing of safety pins. Let's see. We've got a nice thing of ball head pins. We have a leather sewing thimble in here. It's a coin style. Just kind of slip it on. As you can see, it's way too big for my finger, so I usually just stick it on my thumb, and that helps. Then of course, this one has a tape measure, because this one is potentially more for taking measurements or making sure that what we have is long enough or it fits properly. Another bit of tailor's chalk, and of course, good old seam ripper. Now, as far as, this is not, of course, historically accurate, obviously. However, this is what I have, and it's very handy. This I would probably have if I was doing some handwork at an event or something like that. I haven't had the opportunity to use it yet. I hope I do. That would be really great. But, yeah, now I'll show you how it goes back together. There. So this is technically my historical kit, but again, it's more just there for when I actually want to work on stuff when I'm at an event, or if I'm somewhere where I need to do some repairs and can't get to my field kit. That's what this one is for. So here is my big box. It has my SCA name, my mundane name on it, and I'm just going to open it and we're going to go through it piece by piece. So up here in this, I have a hunk of beeswax, a bunch of yarn or darning needles, and I guess these could probably be bodkins if you really wanted to use them. These are for my sewing machine. These are some hook and eyes. Let's see, and this is a needle threader, which I don't use very often, but it is handy to have. Other side. Let's see, nothing in here, but this one has two of my thimbles, again, leather thimbles. This one's a bit smaller, this one is still a bit big. And then of course, good old tailor's chalk. Alright, so I'm going to open up the box, which you hear on the other side. And this is what is in the insert. So, let's see here. So first of all, we have a needle book. This one I made. It has newer, sharper needles in it, but it's very handy, and it just stays closed with a little safety pin, which I like. We then, of course, have our faithful and trusty tape measure. I think this one is 2 feet, 3, maybe a bit longer. We have thread snips, or string, depending on if I'm working on embroidery or not. We have my fabric shears, which I like for cutting fabric because then the fabric doesn't unravel, and it just has a nice edge that is really helpful for turning seams and stuff. Not that I term seams very often. This is an older seam gauge. I haven't ever really used it yet, but I have it. Probably because one day I will end up using it. So, you know, better safe than sorry. Of course, here we have a spool of white thread. I think I was working on something with it, which is why it has a needle stuck in it. Let's see here. I have a set... Ooh, come here. I have a set of larger metal threads that can be used for tapestry, embroidery. I actually end up using these a lot of times for bookbinding just because of the size. good old box of pins. I love these. They're longer and they hold up to so much. I can even sew over them. I don't recommend it, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. We've got two styles of seam rippers here. The larger style, I've had this one for a really long time, as you can tell, because at one point Barrington chewed on it. And I also have, of course, the small style. And then I have a friction pen, which is handy for when I'm drawing out embroidery, or if I need to make quick measurements, I can go back and just rub off the pen, and I don't have enough good things to say about one of these. And then, of course, I have a pencil. And there's a reason for that pencil. Because now we're going to get into some of the other stuff I have in here. Is it all going to fit? I don't know. Alright. So in here, I have one of my favorite things. I have the little clips. These are so great for seams, for hems, because sometimes you lose your pins and you end up stepping on them 200 years later because you forgot to pick them up. But these are lovely. I think these are a pack of 100 and I got them on Amazon for pretty cheap. I think I paid like $10 for the whole pack. You can also pick them up in craft and sewing stores. So this is all my threads that I use. This is left over from a sewing kit I got from my mom, but as you can see it has different colors. There's some embroidery thread in there, but this stays in here when I'm working on something very specific. Let's see. A darning egg, useful for socks and things. I need to get a mushroom that's better for working on bigger holes, but I love this thing. It's very handy. I have my measurements for a tunic written on this paper. Here is some Wonder Under, or Stitch Witch, whatever you call it. I think this is Stitch Witch. This is Stitch Witch, and this is for hems and things like that. And it's basically a long strip of fusible interfacing that you iron down when you're doing a hem. The stuff is great. I have some clasps, snaps. I've had these for quite some time. And then finally, I have a book that has measurements. So if we pop it open, it has measurements for a few people. So that way I can keep track of things. I need to add mine. But that way I have a handy reference guide should I need to find people's measurements and I don't have the opportunity to have them sit there and get measured in front of me. So yeah, this is what's in my big sewing box. And the box itself is just, like I said, a toolbox from Lowe's. I've had it for a while. But yeah, so that is what I have in my big sewing box. So yeah, that is basically everything I use for sewing when I'm working on stuff. And this, of course, doesn't include anything that I work with, like with my sewing machine. Or if I'm doing embroidery, I have a bunch of different tools and equipment for a lot of stuff. And for some people that might seem like a bit excessive, but you know what? I'd rather be prepared and have things than not have them. So hopefully you guys found this video entertaining. If you did, feel free to give it a like. Comment, I suppose. If you're not subscribed, go ahead. And I'm going to try to be better about uploading once a month like I said I would. So anyways, take care. Be good people, and don't forget to stay hydrated. Bye!